Hello everybody, this is Tim here. I just had to do this video once again for the new year. For 2017, these are the worst films I'd ever seen, and these are in no order, not from worst to least worst or least worst to most worst. These are just the worst. And keep in mind, I haven't seen some films like Geostorm or Medea Boo 2 or 50 Shades of Crap or whatever movie that series is on, because I just couldn't care less about those films, and I just haven't gotten around to them because I'm not really interested in them at all. So these are out of the ones I've seen. Here they are in no order. The Promise with Christian Bale and Oscar Isaac. Movie, well, had promise. Doesn't really delve into it. It tries to be a story about all these people being slaughtered by something, I believe, that is still denied by the country that supposedly did it to this day. I've already forgotten most of the movie, but Christian Bale's like a war journalist or photographer or whatever. But anyway, they throw in like this love story that takes away from really the main story that you actually care about and want to see. And it's overly silly, and you can tell it's just made up for the movie. This distracts from the real story you want to see and just bogs the film down. Happy Death Day was one I was excited for. I like the whole groundhog type idea for a slasher film, but because the movie's PG-13, the violence is extremely toned down and they just play up the humor. So it's really a comedy. It's not even a slasher film. And it all comes down to, are you laughing a lot with this film? The jokes are pretty much, at the end of the film, this is the kind of jokes I got from the film. Like after everything that's happened with the constant loops, the dude is like, "Hey, did you ever see the movie Groundhog Day?" And she's like, "No, never even heard of it." It's like, "Oh, wow, that's so clever." It's stupid. The movie just wasted potential with a shitty looking mask for the killer. It's just way too stupid looking. Bye Bye Man. Good Lord, this was atrocious. An interesting idea. It's like Candyman's retarded cousin or something for a film. It's just stupid. Interesting idea, but the film itself is probably the friggin' worst execution I have seen in a horror film in probably a few years, honestly. Beauty and the Beast. This film isn't really terrible. It's more of just like passable, but compared to the friggin' original animated film, this is just a waste of money. It doesn't offer anything new, and what it tries to change just isn't interesting. They try to make it to some kind of feminist type flick, and that's fine if they want to make like a girl power movie. I'm cool with that, but they don't do a very interesting job with it. And just the character of Belle, played by Emma Watson, who's an actress I like and I loved her in Perks of Being a Wallflower, she's not very interesting. The character is just not interesting. The animated counterpart had more charisma than the live action version, which is weird. Then next would be Mother by Darren Aronofsky. This is a movie that head is just way too up its own ass. Beauty and the Beast is a better film than this, actually. But I'm calling this one next because this film, it's just artsy fartsy to the max. It's style over substance is what it is. There's no real plot in the movie. It's just chaos, and that's it. There's a plot, but it's like so microscopic and thin that the artsiness of it gets in the way of there being any kind of story to hook the viewer in my opinion, or at least for me. A movie that's artsy like that has to have something interesting happening so that the artisticness or the underlying meaning can play from that and flow from it naturally. Here, it just feels like shit thrown in just to say, here, you get it. Self-indulgence. There's no subtlety to it, in my opinion. Next would be Jigsaw. This movie is just a friggin' waste of time. Say what you want about Saw 3D, and I will say it's probably a worse film than Jigsaw, but at least it felt like it had a purpose. Jigsaw, it just doesn't offer anything. There's just no reason for it to be made. Some people say that about a lot of sequels, but with this one, I have no idea why this exists except for money. It just offers nothing. The Mummy with Tom Cruise, that's another one. Offers nothing. It's just like the PG-13 redo of the Brandon Fraser movies, which I actually do enjoy. Transformers: The Last Night. Good Lord, this felt like two movies fused together. The movie is just way too long. I didn't even hate the film. I just thought it was bland as all hell. I thought it was like barely passable. I will never watch it again. I hate the Transformers movies. They're way too friggin' long. And the plots are just all over the damn place because they feel like 2 or 3 movies fused together worth of material. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, another huge waste of time that retcons every film before it. This is such a terrible script. I can't believe... It just feels like Paul W. Anderson doesn't even care about the plots of these movies, which he probably doesn't. But at the same time, the plot is just so, like, slap your face insulting, even to people who are fans of this franchise, that it's just unforgivable. The way it retcons and ignores everything established by the other films is unforgivable. Baywatch by The Rock. I thought I was actually going to enjoy this movie. I went in thinking critics were maybe too hard about it. No, this film is stupid. First of all, just the idea of superhero lifeguards in a modern age trying to make you care about this type of thing was stupid to begin with. And it's just ultimately a waste of time. And I never cared for anything that was happening in the film. The movie never captured me. Dark Tower, which is another film I think is just passable, once again falls under waste of time. You have this epic Lord of the Rings Stephen King book series and you make a really condensed, watered down, PG-13 feeling flick. It just falls under waste of time. Dark Tower would work much better as like a Netflix series like Stranger Things or something. And last but not least, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which I thought was a film that was just a slog to get through, an extremely bland plot, didn't really offer anything. They still haven't done right with Rey's character. I don't hate this film. It's a passable flick. I actually liked Force Awakens, but Rey's character in that, Daisy Ridley does a good job acting as the character, but her character is bad. They haven't fine-tuned the character or got it right yet. She's overpowered in Force Awakens. Last Jedi, she feels underpowered. And there's just no advancements of the story from the last film. And I know some people are cool with that and they like the way that the movie goes. I'm cool with a movie or a sequel wanting to do its own thing and do something totally different from the last film. But what it gave me just didn't feel interesting. It was just really boring. 90% of the movie was just a ship sitting in space. Ultimately, the movie just pretty much bored me to death. And I thought that Luke was just kind of there for most of the movie. He didn't really do much, not even training-wise with Rey. All in all, these are my least favorite to worst films of 2017 that I have seen. Medea Boo 2 would probably be on this list somewhere since I freaking hate those movies. But all in all, these are the least favorite films I've seen this year. And I'll see you guys again with the next video.